We're getting reaction to last night's Brexit vote here in Westminster. But away from here, we've been talking to MPs this morning, been speaking to people in Benidorm, in Bolton, in Dordogne, all over the place. What about the verdict of British businesses?
Steph is at a firm in Birmingham that makes metal components. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you, morning everyone. Before we chat to the boss, I'm just going to give you a little flavour of the types of things they do here. So they make metal components, billions of them every single day. So what you can see this machine doing is it's bringing in that metal sheet, that thin metal sheet. It's then pressing it through this machine here at quite some speed, it's got to be said. And out of the other end, you can see Trevor's just making sure this machine's working properly, and it produces this material here, which is then sent off to be coated with nickel, and eventually it's used to go around your mirror in your car. So you know, if you've got one of those mirrors in your car, one of those posh ones where you can make it dim when you've got bright lights behind you, they use this to get a current through it in order to make it work. Interesting, isn't it? I never knew that's how it worked. But they make billions of components here, everything from those to the bits that goes in your kettle, like the elements in your kettle, bits in your plumbing as well. And it's a business that has been going for 157 years. So for them, over the last few years, they've been wondering what is Brexit going to mean. And Rowan is the boss here. Can you tell us a bit about where these parts are going and who your customers are?
Yeah, of course. So we export 75% of the components we make to 22 different countries, including China, North America and Europe. Components are going into vehicles, cars, automotive, white goods, kettles and plumbing fittings.
Yeah. And since the referendum, you have been planning hard for us leaving the EU, haven't you?
Most certainly have, yeah. So we spent 2.5 years planning, talking regularly to our customers, which has been the key thing, and encouraging a business as usual approach to it, while also planning for worst case scenario.
Do you feel prepared, no matter what happens?
Yeah, we feel prepared in as much as we've gone for worst case scenario as we see it, which is a no Brexit deal. If you plan for that, should be ready for anything else that might happen.
Yeah. Has it cost a lot of, well, I guess money and time?
Yeah, huge amount of time and effort gone in. We only employ 64 people, 10 of which are apprentices, so huge draw on resource and time in making all those preparations. In terms of costs, we've had to put contingencies in for extra stock. At the moment, we're probably carrying about £150,000 worth more stock than we would normally carry, purely as a contingency to avoid delays in the supply chain.
And do you feel now that you're, I mean, we haven't got any certainty, have we, yet? So do you feel like happy? Do you feel optimistic about what's going to happen, or how do you feel?
I feel relatively optimistic, but what manufacturing needs is certainty, and we haven't got that yet. Certainty will provide us with a very clear direction to move into, and we just haven't got it, so we need to get on and understand what direction we're going in.
That is the word that keeps being screamed. Certainty, we need certainty. Thank you very much, Ron. I really appreciate having a little tour around. Let's have a chat with Kimberly as well, who's an economist from the University of Birmingham. So this backdrop of the world in which we're in at the minute, we're going to be hearing from the Chancellor later on, talking about how the economy is doing. Give us the context. What are we likely to hear?
So what we're going to hear, I think, is essentially, you've summarised earlier very nicely. We've had a tax revenue boom in January of 21 billion extra amount of revenue being raised. So our deficit is going to be probably half what it was in 2017-18. We had a promise of an end to austerity in October, and so the Chancellor's got to now challenge himself to decide whether he's going to promise anything with this extra money that he now has available, or be much more cautious because of the upcoming vote about no deal. He's also promised an extra £3.4 billion in tariffs in the case of no deal, so it'll be very interesting to see how he deals with that this afternoon.
And that came out this morning, the news about the tariffs.
News, actually,
yeah, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, I was quite surprised actually about this. It's puzzling to me because they've also undercut the EU tariffs, which seems a bit of an antagonistic move. So I'm really not sure what the rationale was behind that. I'm still actually mulling it over, as economists will do.
As so many people are.
Yes.
Kimberly, thank you very much for your time this morning. And that's it for me here. I have to say as well, thank you to Barry, who called us earlier. He called us here at 78-year-old. His age is relevant because he used to work as a toolmaker in this industry, and he rang up to say hello. So I thought I'd say hello back. Barry, thanks for your call. Thanks for all the work you did for the toolmakers as well. That's it from me.
That's what we like, you know. Phones can still be used. People can send us letters, Steph, if they want to as well. Thank you very much indeed, Steph.
Real people. Thank
Yeah.
you, Barry, for getting in
Yeah, we
contact
love
today.
that.